Hi guys, welcome to my lecture. I hope all of you doing well. Now, today's lecture is about proteinuria and nephrotic syndrome. So we will see first proteinuria. So pathologically, proteinuria can be divided as glomerulus proteinuria, microalbuminuria and overflow proteinuria. Microalbuminuria, also called as paucialbuminuria. Pauci means minimal or less amount of albuminuria. So we will see first glomerulus proteinuria. Now first glomerular proteinuria. A glomerulus of kidney are not permeable to a substance with molecular weight more than 69,000 D or Dalton. So plasma proteins are normally absent in normal person's urine. So plasma proteins are absent in normal person's urine. When glomeruli are damaged, they become more permeable to plasma proteins. Hence, damage to glomerulus causes increase in proteinuria. Now, remember one thing, albuminuria is always pathological. Now, how will we measure proteinuria? Yes, we can measure proteinuria by overnight first voided urine sample, also called as EMU, early morning urine sample. So, protein concentration in urine up to 300 mg per day called as benign proteinuria. Protein concentration in urine between 300 mg to 1000 mg per day called as pathological proteinuria. Protein concentration in urine more than 1000 mg per day causes also called as glomerular proteinuria. Then our second type of proteinuria is microalbuminuria, also called as paucialbuminuria. So very small quantity of albumin is seen in urine. It ranges between 30 to 300 mg per day. See, microalbuminuria is an early indication of nephropathy in diabetes mellitus and hypertensive patients. That's why all patients who are known case of diabetes mellitus and hypertension should be screened for albuminuria. A patient with diabetes mellitus and hypertension should be tested for albuminuria at least once a year. Our third part of proteinuria is overflow proteinuria. Now, when small molecular weight of protein are increased in the blood leads to overflow of that protein in urine. For example, hemolysis leads to what? Or hemoglobin urea leads to what? Heme and globin. Both are proteins. Our next example is Baines-Jones proteinuria. Now, what is Baines-Jones proteinuria? Baines-Jones proteinuria means abnormal production of light chain immunoglobulin. Now, we all know immunoglobulins are made up of heavy chain and light chain. But in Baines-Jones proteinuria case, there is abnormal increase in production of light chain. So Baines-Jones proteinuria occurs in multiple myeloma disease. Remember that. Baines-Jones proteinuria occurs in multiple myeloma disease. Now, proteinuria. Proteinuria means loss of proteins in the blood plasma. Now, what are proteins? Anything, albumin, immunoglobulin, clotting factor, anti-clotting factor, all that things. So proteinuria means loss of protein in the blood plasma. So loss of albumin in blood plasma causes decrease in oncotic pressure. Decrease in blood oncotic pressure leads to peripheral edema. And what are other proteins like immunoglobulins? So all of you know, decrease in immunoglobulins ultimately causes infection. Okay. So loss of protein can stimulate liver to produce more proteins and more lipids. So abnormal increase in production of lipid causes hyperlipidemia. Loss of antithrombin proteins causes hypercoagulability disease or hypercoagulopathy. Now this is all about proteinuria. Now we will see nephrotic syndrome. So this is normal microscopic diagram or structure of glomerulus. You can see that Bowman's capsule and small glomerular capillaries. Now, what is nephrotic syndrome? Nephrotic syndrome causes damage to the blood vessel of glomerulus, leads to massive increase in proteinuria. Nephrotic syndrome caused by damage to small blood vessel leads to massive proteinuria. Now, what are different causes of nephrotic syndrome? Diabetes nephropathy, systemic lupus erythematosus, amyloidosis, minimal change disease, focal segment glomerulosclerosis, membranous nephropathy. Again we will revise causes of nephrotic syndrome: diabetes nephropathy, systemic lupus erythematosus, amyloidosis, minimal change disease, focal segment glomerulosclerosis, and membranous nephropathy. Now we will see first diabetes nephropathy. In diabetes mellitus, there is abnormal increase in blood glucose level. Increase in blood glucose level or abnormal increase in blood glucose level gradually leads to damage to glomerular cells. So damage to filter become leaky to proteins. That's why proteinuria occurs in diabetes nephropathy. Ultimately, nephrotic syndrome can also occur in diabetes mellitus. Now, our second cause is systemic lupus erythematosus. Now, what is systemic lupus erythematosus or SLE? So basically, SLE is an autoimmune disease. Autoimmune causes damage to glomerular capillaries and glomerular body. Ultimately causes massive proteinuria. That's why proteinuria occurs in SLE. Now our third cause is amyloidosis. Now what is amyloid? What is amyloid bodies? So amyloid is an abnormal protein that is produced in the bone marrow and can be deposited in any tissue or any organ. So amyloidosis of kidney causes damage to glomerular part of kidney or nephrons. Ultimately leads to proteinuria and nephrotic syndrome. Our fourth causes of nephrotic syndrome is minimal change disease. See, the name itself says minimal change. Its pathology cannot be seen by normal light microscopy. That's why we called minimal change disease. We use electron microscopy to diagnose minimal change disease. Minimal change disease commonly occurs in pediatric group. Minimal change disease occurs due to damage to porocytes. Now, this is image of electron microscopy. In left side, you can see normal structure of capillaries or glomerular capillaries. You can see glomerular capillary and porocytes. In right side of image, you can see porocytes are damaged. So ultimately leads to proteinuria. Damage to porocytes causes proteinuria and nephrotic syndrome. Now, our next causes is membranous nephropathy. Now, this is immunofluorescence image of glomerular capillary. This is called immunofluorescence image. Basically, this is glomerular capillary. We can diagnose membranous nephropathy by using immunofluorescence technique. You can see there is granular. You can see there is granular appearance of capillaries. So we can diagnose membranous nephropathy by granular appearance of capillaries. Now you can see the electron microscopic image of membranous nephropathy. There is abnormal dome-shaped degeneration. There is abnormal dome-shaped degeneration. You can see dark gray color degeneration or dome-shaped degeneration. So we can diagnose membranous nephropathy by electron microscopy and immunofluorescence image. Now, next causes is focal segmental glomerulosclerosis, caused due to epithelial damage. Epithelial damage of glomerulus leads to proteinuria. Now, do not see there are two different terms, nephritic syndrome and nephrotic syndrome. Do not confuse between nephrotic syndrome and nephritic syndrome. See, in nephrotic syndrome there is massive proteinuria, more than 3.5 gram per day. In nephrotic syndrome there is severe edema. In nephrotic syndrome there is hyperlipidemia. Now, peripheral edema causes ascites, periorbital edema and peritibial edema. In this image, you can see a periorbital edema or fluffy face. You can see this patient has ascites and fluffy face and periorbital edema. So we can diagnose as nephrotic syndrome. So now we will see a case study. A 18-year girl with 2-week history of swelling around neck and both legs and generalized body swelling with no history or negative history of constipation, fever and hematuria. Examination reveals bilateral pedal edema and ascites. Our investigation shows hemoglobin level 7.9 with hypochromia and microcytosis. Serum albumin level 1.9 gram per dl. Serum globin level 1.8. Triglyceride 200 mg per dl. So this is our all scenario. Now see, patient has signs of edema, swelling around eyes and both legs. Patient has pedal edema. Patient has ascites. patient has hyperlipidemia, hypoalbumin. Okay, so what is normal range of albumin? Around 3.4 to 5.4 gram per dl. Here in this case, albumin level is 1.9 gram per dl. It means low serum albumin level, hypoalbuminemia, right? Now, what is normal serum globin level? 2 to 3.5 gram per dl. Now, in this case, what is globin level? 1.8. It means decrease in globin level or decrease in protein level, right? Now, triglyceride. What is normal range of triglyceride? It is less than 150 mg per dl. Now, in this case, what is our triglyceride value? 200 mg per dl. It means there is increase in triglyceride or hyperlipidemia case. So, this is case of nephrotic syndrome. Okay. Now, what is treatment of nephrotic syndrome? Basically, there is no treatment for nephrotic syndrome. There is only symptomatic treatment. If kidney stop working, we have only two choices. Either we can go for dialysis for whole life or kidney transplant. Okay? So that is all about nephrotic syndrome and proteinuria.